What inspired you to start investment advisory services?
Actually, I've been in this line for almost more than 30 years actually, now 32 years if I'm not mistaken. So it's like I started as a investor in IPOs. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I started off as an investor investing in IPOs, public issues. And then वहां से बस as I got allotment, वो शेयर बेचने थे, I went to a stockbroker. वहां से फिर I became a sub broker, then I became a broker. So it was a natural progression from a investor in IPO to the membership and the current business. Stage by stage वैसे बढ़ता गया. I was always interested in the stock markets as such. And in '96, our first I took membership of Cochin Stock Exchange. And then '96 when NSE was launched, we took membership of NSE and started business.
What services you are offering to investors?
We offer everything to do with equities, commodities, and currencies and mutual funds. So basically, what our business model is, we are into a franchisee cum branch model. So we have about 800 plus active franchisees, 800 to 900 active franchisees, and about 35 branches across the country. Predominantly, हम लोग South में हैं. So we are in all the southern states. Plus we are in Maharashtra, Gujarat. As far as branches are concerned, franchises we have across. And as far as customer base are concerned, we've got more than 1 lakh customers, 1.2 lakh customers as of now. And what we offer them is the equity broking, commodity broking, currency broking, as well as mutual funds. What we are strong is on research. Research is something we have a lot of focus on. We have a department, we have a 7-member team department. And these are the services we offer.
How would you like to define your unique strength?
I would like to
define your unique strength, USP.
Unique style. I think two things actually. One is our research, as I was saying. So we have a good research team, and they've been with us for a very long time. So the research is one good, and we. Yeah. So we're generally known for our good research, whether it's in commodities or equities. We are known for our research. So I think that is one of our most unique points. And then plus, we also have a good one-to-one relation with all our clients. We have dedicated relationship managers, dealers. So I think customized services and research, these are our key unique points.
How has been the performance of your recommendation?
Recommendations, like I said, we are pretty strong on research, so we would have a accuracy rate of anywhere between 75 to 85%. Typically, no one can be 100% right there. But overall, if you look at it, we'll have a 75 to 85% kind of strike rate, which is generally considered good in the industry, both in equities as well as commodities. So we have separate research for both trading as well as for investments, positional calls as well as for investments, and we also give recommendations to clients on how to structure a portfolio based on their risk rewards, what kind of shares they should be looking at. So we generally we profile the client first to understand what the client's risk parameters are, and based on that we recommend to them what kind of portfolio they should be having.
Is there any minimum size of portfolio which you take?
No, we are not into the PMS as such. We are into the advisory. So we are a SEBI registered advisory firm. So what we do is we advise clients on portfolio. There is no minimum size on it. So it can even be a couple of lakhs portfolio, or it can be in crores. There is no minimum size. And we don't have a. Sorry?
You can continue.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, we don't have a minimum maximum size. Basically, what happens is when a new client joins us, we try and understand the client, his risk profile, and all that. And based on that, we design a portfolio for him if he is an investor, and if he's a trader, which I think a lot of people these days are into trading quite frequently. So, depending on the risk profile, we recommend whether he should be a trader or an investor, and based on that, we advise him on what he should be.
What are the major tools used to identify multi-baggers?
Basically, it would be fundamental analysis, the macro economy, and the debt ratios. There are so many things. It's a very vast field of how you identify multi-baggers. So we use a combination of fundamentals and technicals. So like they say, it should be a good business at a good price. So that's something we follow. So a share which is very good business, but we think it is expensive, we don't recommend. So we first identify shares which we think are good, and then based on that, we wait for an entry point based on technical parameters, and then we recommend. And we would recommend it for generally for long terms.
What are the challenges?
Challenges. I think right now one key thing is the discount broking model which people are adopting. So this current generation is more of a do-it-yourself kind of generation. They would prefer to do trading on their own. 10 years back, that was not the case. It was more advisory and relationship based broking. But slowly things are changing with discount broking coming in. People are preferring to trade on their own. So that is one thing which we are looking at. How do we get into that field? And that's something we are actively looking at. And I think technology would be one challenge in the sense we have technology, we use technology reasonably well, but then we always need to be keeping up with the technology. What are the latest? In fact, what more can you do than what other brokers are offering? These are some of the key things that we need to look at. Regulation wise, I think while India is generally doing a great job on recommendations. One immediate term challenge is the number of regulations that are coming in. The regulations which are coming in have generally been very positive. They are making the market better. They are making the market safer for investors, making it more transparent. The challenge is most often the speed at which it is being implemented, especially given the COVID period that we are having now. Due to that, we face certain challenges. So regulatorily, I think overall, if you look at it, the direction is definitely good. Markets keep getting better in terms of both volumes, and that happens basically because you have a good regulatory framework. I think it's only the speed of implementation, the number of changes that are coming into regulatory, that causes a few challenges. So I think that is the second challenge we are facing. But overall, I think it's a good industry with a lot of more opportunities than challenges.
What is the feedback of your clients for your services?
Clients generally, I think since the research is good and clients make money, it's generally a very positive thing. So we are, like I was saying, we are more into the relation kind of broking now. We have a very close relation with most of our clients, whether it is through our franchisees or through our branches, dealers, RM network. The feedback is generally good. Yes, definitely when you have a large customer base, you will have people who have service issues, but they are actively taken care of. The general feedback, I think it is good. We have clients who've been with us for decades now. We are in the industry for 25-30 years, and we still have clients who've been with us. A lot of clients who've been with us right from the beginning.
What is your message to investors and expected new investors?
Sorry?
What is your message for investors and expected new investors?
Okay, a message for investors. I think, see, one good thing, one definite thing which investors should do is, typically what happens is, a lot of people I see, they just come into the market and straight away start trading without actually realizing the risks associated with the market, without the relevant experience required. So I think one important message I would like to give investors is, first and foremost, when you enter capital markets, you should test the waters, do some investments only based after you profile your risk, after you understand what risk you are. So that is very important, and you should be in it for the long term, not for the short term. Recently, because of COVID, market had tanked and it gave us very good opportunities to trade. And people who entered the markets after the COVID crash, they have made reasonably large amounts of money. They should not get carried away with the profits. These kind of profits which we've seen now are super profits in the last 2-3 months. These kind of profits do not always exist. Market always has opportunities, yes, but these kind of profits are rare. So investors should not get carried away. When they invest in the market, they should be thinking about long term. A lot of times in such markets, you have shares which are fundamentally not strong, going up very sharply. Investors should be careful of such shares. Try and invest only in the, especially if you're a new investor, try and invest only in the frontline shares, the Nifty and the Sensex shares which are doing well. Those are the shares you should invest in, and avoid investing in small caps. They might give you bigger returns, yes, but the risks are equally higher. So understand your risk profile. Make sure that whenever you're investing for the long term. Invest only amounts which you think you can afford to lose. Don't put all your money only into the stock markets. Debt is important. The amount of money you should be putting in equity and debt again depends on your risk profile. If you're very young, doing good income, you can afford to put more income into more of your money into equities. But if you're aged and you can't take too much risk, then you should be looking at debt. So risk profiling is very important. That's something you should look at. An investor should invest for the long term and based on the risk profile.
What are your future plans to serve investors better?
Sorry.
What are your future plans to serve investors better?
Future plans, we are actively now looking at the discount model, where, like I was saying, the trend seems to be here for long, is that investors or traders want to trade on their own. So that is something we are actively looking at, the do-it-yourself discount model. But then we would like to add research to the discounting model so that we are able to add value. We are able to add value to our platforms. That is one. And second thing we are looking at is again the debt market. While India, the general debt market is very large, it's on the exchange platform. The liquidity in debt is relatively lower. So I think that's something we're actively looking at, how to get into the debt market. That's a huge opportunity for brokers. Maybe time consuming, maybe less rewarding than equities, but I think that's a huge opportunity going ahead. And that's something which every broker must have. A client has to be investing in equity and debt, and we should be able to offer a good mix of them. So debt is an important product that we should all have. That's something we're actively looking at.
Any other important point or highlight or story you may like to?
These are the key things. So I would just retaliate that people should not get very carried away with the markets that we are seeing now, and investments must only be in the long term. And even if you're trading, your trading has to be based on some logic, not purely based on what your friend or someone tells you. That's something to be very careful about. There's a lot of money to be made in the stock markets, no doubt about it. But it's equally important that investors and traders are careful with their money and trade very cautiously. India has a long way to go. Indian stock markets have a long way to go. There's a lot of money to be made, but that money can be only made if you invest looking at your asset allocation, your age, your risk profile, and everything. That's very important.